We are discussing Power View. In the Power View, we are talking about visualizations, right? Today, we'll discuss about last class we completed visuals for visualizing KPI data. KPI data. So far, how many categories we completed is three categories. In the list of categories we listed, so far we completed categorical data, then date and time data, and then KPI data. Today, I'll start with this first category visuals for what? Filtering the data. Visuals for filtering the data. Okay. In this category, okay, to discuss this category of visuals, first, let's open Power BI Desktop. Power BI Desktop. Click on blank report. Load some tables first. Get data, Excel, and load orders table. Select orders table, click on load. Okay, we are fine with orders table now, or else you load EMPD, PT managers table sets. What is the visual we will discuss first today is a visual with the name called what? Slicer. One of the important visual, slicer visual. Let me show you what is the slicer visual. I'll open almost most of the reports you will have this slicer visual. When you are developing the report in the company, most of the reports you'll use what? Slicer visual. Let me show you one report. You'll get some idea. I'll show you one report here. Okay. Let's see now. Go to workspaces and I'll open one report just to show how slices will looks like. Now, when I go here, I have a report. What is the report name? E-commerce sales report. On the top right side, you are seeing some three visuals. Uh, what are the three visuals is? One is what? Category, year, quarter. Right? These three visuals are slicer visuals. Which visuals? Slicer. When you share this report with the client, initially client can see complete data. Initially client can see what? Complete data. Later on, if they want to see subset of, they want to filter the data by their own, client themselves can filter the data. So for better understanding of this data, might be they want to filter the data by themselves. That time they can filter using slicer. Using what? Slicer. Now when I go and expand, you can see the list of categories available. When I click on technology, all the visuals are showing what data now? Only technology data. Currently, how many years data we are seeing? 4 years. If I go and select 2017, which year data now we are seeing here? 2017. When I select Q4, you are seeing which quarter data? Q4, October, November, December. How many filters you will have? Or let's say you are showing sales, right? How many filters you might have here now? On the sales value, how many filters are there? Three. What are the three filters? Category equal to technology, year equal to 2017, quarter equal to Q4. Like this, client can filter the, again, they can clear that filters. See here. If they want to clear the filter, beside the slicer, there is an option called clear selection. When I click on clear selection, again, they're seeing what? All categories. When I click on year, all years. When I click on quarter, all quarters. Like this, they can apply the filters and they can clear the filters by their own. That is the purpose of this slicer. One of the important visual which we commonly used in every report. Let's write the purpose first. As usual, when you want to learn any visual, what are the three things we need to learn? Purpose, field wells, formatting options. Purpose is slicer visual is used to filter the data, filter the data in a report page. Filter the data in the visuals. You can write like this. Filter the data in the visuals. Uh, you might get one question. Few days back, I talked about some concept called what? Filters. This also is used for filtering the data in the visuals. Today, we'll discuss one more important interview question. What is the question they'll ask you is differences between filters versus slicers. Filters versus slicers. In interview, they'll ask what is the difference between filters and slicers. Even when I talk about filters also, I said the same. This filter is also used for filtering the data in where? Visuals, right? Now also we said the same. Slicer visual is also used for filter the data in where? Visual, right? Then what is the difference? We'll understand. Within few minutes, you'll understand. So before that, let's try to understand more about this slicer. Let's create a couple of visuals first. I taken one card visual, and into the card visual, I drag the quantity. For the first time, when you drag the quantity, how many regions quantity you will see? 4. Now go and reduce this number size first. Go to where? Format, call out value, just give the number size as 20. Once after this, add one border, general, effects, add the visual border. The next one is, take another card visual, drag the sales value. Now copy format printer. That's it. Okay, how many region sales you are seeing? 4. Now take another card visual, drag the profit. Drag the profit, copy format painter, paste it. Drag the profit. Again, we are seeing 4 regions profit now. Okay. Now, client is telling that initially when I open the report, I want to see 4 regions data. How many regions data? 4 regions. Later, the client want to filter the data by their own. Later, who want to filter the data? Client want to filter the data. Client want to filter the data. How can you provide that is, these filters, we don't provide access to clients. These filters are for developer purpose. Which purpose? You will know more about it. Whenever your client want to filter the data, you are not supposed to go with filters. You are supposed to go with what? Slicers. Initially, when client open the report, how many regions data they want to see here? 4. Later on, what they need to do? The client want to filter the data by their own based on region. Based on what? Region. What is the reason client will ask to filter the data? What is the reason? Client will ask to provide a provision to filter the data. Huh? What is the reason client will ask to provide a provision to filter the data? Why? For better understanding. Simple. For better understanding of the data. They want to know which region is doing more or less. So they want better understanding of data. They want to filter. Click on what? Slicer visual. I take which visual now? Slicer. See here, guys. How many field wells it have? Only one field well. Slicer have only one field well. Someone guess. Slicer have only one field well with the name field. Someone guess here. We'll drag dimension column or fact column. I have only one field well with the name called field. Into that field, we'll drag dimension column. Correct. We'll drag what? Dimension column. Generally, we never drag fact columns. We mostly drag what? Dimension column. Okay. Now, once you understand it's a dimension column, then you need to understand one or multiple. One or multiple. Let's try to drag region. When I drag the region, we are able to see how many regions are. 4. By default, it will show what? All 4. When I click on central, now visuals are showing what? Central. When I click on east, now we are seeing what? East data. See, there will be a filter now. Region is what? East. When I click on south, it will show south data. Like this. They can filter. When you add it, we'll come back, we'll understand more. Now I need to explain whether we can drag one column or multiple dimension columns, right? Let's copy these visuals to other page. Control C, Control V. Copy paste will work. I just copied the visuals from page 1 to where? Page 2. Now in the page 2, take an example. My client is asking to provide a provision to filter the data based on category and based on subcategory. What are the 2 columns they want to filter the data? One is based on category. Second one is what? Based on subcategory. One way I can do is I can take a slicer. into the first slicer, go and drag which column? Category. And take another slicer now. Take another slicer. And taking a second slicer. Taking the second slicer. Into the second slicer, go and drag subcategory. Go and drag what? Subcategory. Now look at here. This is one way. In this way, first when I click on technology, you are seeing what data? Technology. Technology have how many subcategories? 4. Accessories, copiers, missions, and phones. Go and click on phones. When I click on phones, now you are seeing what? In technology, only phones data. How many filters you might have? To categories what? Categories technology, subcategories what? Phones. Now, clear the filter. Instead of having them in two visuals, better this time show both of them in single visual. So now you don't need to create a separate visual. Delete what? Subcategory visual. Add a new visual. Below the category, go and drag what? Subcategory. Does it allows? Yes, it allows. Now, if you want complete technology data, go and click on what? Technology. It will show complete technology data. What data? Technology data. In technology, if you want only copiers, expand and just select what? Copiers. Now go and see how many filters are there. 2. Technology is what? Sorry, category is technology. Subcategory is what? Copiers. Like this, in the single visual, you are able to apply 2 filters. So whenever it is related dimension columns, recommended to drag into the same field well. Recommended to drag into the same field well. Let's say in the page 1, I need to filter the data based on category and region. Based on which 2 columns? Category and region. This time, take another slicer. Keep it somewhere here. Go and drag which column? Category. So this time, instead of having a separate slicer for region, can I drag region also below category? No, not recommended. Not recommended. This time, how many slices we need to use? 2 slices. This time, only 1. Let's say in this page, I need to filter the data based on segment also. Where you will drag segment? Into this visual or this visual? Huh? Where you will drag segment? Which visual? Category
No,
visual?
no.
You need to go with a separate slicer. You need to go
Separate
with what?
sizer. There
Separate
is no
slicer. Go on.
there,
No related
yes,
dimension columns are there. Go and
yes.
drag which column here? Segment. You need to go with separate slicer. I can filter now what? Based on category, based on region, based on segment. Let's say in the page 2, I want to filter the data not only based on category and subcategory, based on product name also. Based on what? Product. What I need to do? I need to create a new slicer or I need to drag it to the same?
No, same
Drag
one.
to the same. Go here. Go and drag which column? Product name. Now I can expand any category. I can see what? Subcategories. I can expand any subcategory. I can see what? Products.
Products.
I can see the products. So what we understand, we have only one field with the name field. We'll drag what columns are there? Dimensions. One or multiple, it will allow multiple. But what you need to drag? Related. We need to drag multiple related dimension columns. Dimension columns. So we understand purpose. We understand what? Field wells. Now go and understand formatting options. What are the formatting options available? We'll see now. The first formatting option I have is, let's go here. Select the visual, go to format. We know that visual formatting options we need to learn. General formatting options are common. We already know them. This first go to where? Visual formatting options. First one is what? Slicer settings. When I go to slicer settings, there are 2 options. One is option. Second one is what? Selection. First, let's try to understand what is there in the options. When I go to the options, you have what? Style. What is the style you have? Yeah. Vertical list. When I go and expand, you have vertical list, style, and what? Drop down. If you see here, the slicer is looking different. And when you go to this page, here the slicer is looking different. Yes or no? It is different style. Here it is a different style. And here it is a different style. Right? Now we'll try to understand when to go with what? Vertical list, when to go with what? Tile, when to go with what? Drop down. How many slicer styles? We call it as types of slicers or slicer style. How many slicer styles you see? 3. 3. Slicer style. What is the first one you see is vertical list. Second one, tile. Third one, I'll change the order. Second, I'll write drop down, and third one I'll write time. Okay. These are the three sizes styles you see. But now let's say you'll understand when to use which one. Let's say I want to filter the data here. Let's copy this visuals. Control C, Control V will work. Copy paste. I'm copying only card visuals. Just copying the page 3. I have a column called row ID column. In order table, we have which column? Row ID. What is the minimum row ID we have in the table? 1. What is the maximum row ID I have? 9994. It is showing the data for 1 to 9994. 1 to what? 9994. 1 to 9994 row ID is what is the quantity, sales, and profit we are seeing now. Now I want to filter the data in this visuals based on this row ID column. Based on what? A client is telling that initially I want to see all the data, and client want to filter the data later based on which column? Row ID. What you will do then? Add the slicer, go to the slicer and drag which column now? Row ID. Row ID is a dimension column or fact column? Dimension column. Go and drag the row ID. When I drag the row ID, you see slicer is looking different. Yes or no? When I go to format, when I go to where? Slicer settings, when you see what? Style. What is the style you have? Between. When I go here, how many styles are there? 6 are there. Vertical list, tile, drop down, between, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. See, the slicer styles are not same for all the columns. First you see for what? Text column. Text column, what are the slicer styles you have? How many? 3. Now we seen for what? Number column. How many slicer styles are there? 6. Go and write them. What is the fourth one you see is? Fifth one? Less than or equal to. Sixth one? Greater than or equal to. Okay. So these are the slicer styles you have for which column? Number column. Now client is telling that there is a order date column. Which column? I can go and change it. Let's say when I select 5001 and I give second one is 6000. We are seeing the data from which row ID? 5001 till which row ID? 6000. How many row IDs data you are seeing now? 1000 row IDs. Some 1000 row IDs data you are seeing, right? So like this we can filter it. We'll discuss more about it. Now you have a order date column. Which column? Order date. Order date is what is the minimum date you have? 3rd January 2014. What is the maximum date we have? 30 December 2017. 30 December 2017. By default, you will see complete data. In this visuals, you can see starting from 3rd January 2014 till when? 30 December 2017. How many years data you are seeing? Now, after showing the complete data, client is asking, I want to filter the data based on order date column. Based on what? When client want to filter the data based on order date, what you need to take? Slicer. Go and take again slicer. And this time, you need to drag which column? Order date column. Go and drag. Order date is a dimension column or fact column? Dimension. Drag it. Now, will you see some start date and end date? What is the minimum date you are seeing? 3rd January 2014. Maximum date? 30 December. By default, it will show complete data. Complete data. Even previously, when I take slicer, when I drag row ID, what is the minimum row ID? And what is the maximum row ID? 994. Is it showing complete data? Now, client can go and filter the data here. Let's say I click on this. I'm clicking on this. I'm just going to 2016 January 1st. What is the start date I select? 1st January 2016. I'm just going to again 2016 December 31st. Now we are seeing how many years data here? Only 1 year. Starting from where? 1st January 2016 till what? Like this, client can select some start date, client can select end date, and they can see the data here. Now select the date column, go to format, slicer styles. When I go here, How many slicer styles are there? 8 are there. How many? 8. Related date, related time. Like this, lot of slicer styles are there, right? Go and write them first. So first 4 are common. For which column we are looking at now? Date. For date column, date data type column, how many slicer styles you have is vertical list, drop down, tile, between, fifth one you'll see is before, sixth one you'll see is after, seventh one you'll see there is relative date. Which one? Relative date. And eighth one you'll see there is what? Relative time. Relative time. You people need to have a basic idea when to use which one. Let's quickly understand when to use which one. First, we'll try to explain about what? Text column. In text column, when to go with vertical list, when to go with drop down, when to go with tile, I'll tell you. When to go with vertical list is, clear this filter. When to go with vertical list is, if the number of values are less, better to go with vertical list. Category have how many values? 3. Region have how many values? 4. Segment have how many values? 3. In all these scenarios, better to go with what? Vertical list. Whenever we have less values, recommended to go with vertical list. Now, let's say I want to filter the data here based on state column. Which column? State. Take what? Slicer. Drag which column now? State. When I drag the state column, lot of states are there. And see how many states are there in the state column is 49 states. When I go to state column, how many distinct values are there? 49. How many values you will see here? 49. So by default, let me write one point here. For text column, default, you'll get what? Vertical list. For number column, what is the default you got? You see in it, right? When I drag the number column, what is the one you got? Between. What is the default one you got for number column? Between. For date column, what is the default slicer style? Between. Remember, these are the default styles if you get for the first time. Now, when I drag the state column, what is the default slicer style you are getting for state column? Vertical list. This time, vertical list is not recommended. So when you have more values like this, that time vertical list is not recommended. Even though you show vertical list, are you able to show all the states here? No, right? Now go here. Instead of vertical list, go and change it to what? Sorry, guys. So change it to drop down. Change it to, I'll come to tile. Drop down. So when I change it to drop down, now I don't want more space here. I can keep it in the less space. Whenever I need to select any state, I can expand it. But here, one more thing you need to do is, let's say I want to select Texas. To select Texas, you need to start scrolling down and you need to search where Texas is there. It will take some time, right? When you have more values, better to enable the search bar. Which one? Do you have any search option here to search the Texas? How to get the search option is, go to where? More options. There is an option called what? Search. Now, do you see search option here? Yes, we are able to see the search option. In the search option now, I can go and search. Let's say if you want to see Texas, you can search for what? Texas. Now, are we able to see which state data you are seeing here? Texas data. Like this, we can use the, whenever you have more values, which slicer style we go? Drop down. Better to enable one more thing called what? Search. So you tell me here, does it require any search bar here? Here also you can enable it. If you go here, more options search, you'll get search. No, not required. Why? Because you have less values. When you have more values, then only we need to enable it. Let's take an example. In this page, I need to filter the data based on category as well as what? State. Now go and take another slicer here and go and drag the category column. When I drag the category column, it is which slicer style? Vertical list. This is which slicer style? Drop down. So here, when you have less values, which one you need to go? Vertical list we need to go. Now, it is not recommended side by side, show one slicer in a vertical list, show second slicer in a drop down. When you do like this, it will not look good. Generally, you don't see any report. One with what? Vertical list, another with what? Drop down. Either you need to convert this to drop down, you need to convert category visual to what? Drop down, or you need to convert the state visual to what? Vertical list. Either one you need to do it. Which one you will prefer? Which one you will prefer? You'll go and change category to drop down, or you'll go and change state to vertical list. Category to drop down. Category to what? Drop down. See, when you have less values, recommended to go with vertical list. If already there is a drop down, better to convert this to what? Drop down. This is not recommended to convert it to what? Vertical list. Why? Because you have what? More values. So better you select this visual, go and make it all, this one also what? Drop down. Now they are looking good. Let's add one border. General effects, add the visual border. So if you have both one by side drop downs, it looks good now. Don't keep one in the same page. Don't keep in different formats. Don't keep in what? Different formats. Right. Let's see now. Next, we understand vertical list and then what? Drop down. What is the tile is? Sometimes they don't want. Now I can expand the category. Here you enable search bar, right? Is it required to enable search bar here? Not required. You have less values. This time, sometimes they don't want like this expand or select this checkboxes. What they want is they want some buttons. I want to filter the data here in these three visuals based on region. Which one? Region. They want some button kind of slicer. Which slicer? Button. Like first button they want to see central, second button they want to see east. For each region, one button they require. How can we get that button slicer? Is click on what? Slicer and go and drag which column? Region, and then go to where? Format, slicer settings. There is something called what? Tile. When I go to the tile, you can see now. Are you seeing what now? Buttons. It is like tile. Tile 1, tile 2, tile 3, and tile 4. I can go and click on any tile. Does it filter now? East tile, south, and west. It got filtered. We call this as a tile slicer. Okay. Or button slicer or tile slicer. You can. So even this tile slicer also looks good when you have less values. When you have what? Just imagine instead of region, if I go and drag state, it doesn't look that much good. Lot of tiles are there. It will not give better. Even you are not able to show all of them. Even when you need to go with the tile means when you have what? Less values. When you will go with the drop down, more values. When you go with vertical list, less values. So this is about the text column. Now we'll start with what? Number column. Number column. What slicer styles are there? We'll discuss. Take the slicer. I'll go and drag row heading. Which column? Row heading. So go to format. First one, slicer settings. I'll try with the vertical list. Is it recommended? 994 values are there. How many values are there? 994 values are there. Is it recommended? No. Vertical list, less values. If you see, I have a slicer visual where I'm going to drag salary column. Which column? Salary. I want to filter the salaries based on department number. Based on what? Department number. I'm taking what? Slicer. I'll go and drag what? Department number. Okay. Now when I drag the department number, you are seeing which slicer type style? Between. Now it's not recommended to go with between. You go to here, change it to vertical list. Change it to what? Why I change it to vertical list? Less number of departments. 10th department, what is the sum of salary? 20th, 30th, and 50th. I can easily filter it here. So here you have 994 values. Showing them in the vertical list is not recommended. Go to format. Next one, drop down. Is it recommended? Drop down here means no. Even drop down also recommended to show less values. Here you have thousands. How many values are there? Thousands of values are there. If you go to row ID, how many distinct values are there? Is 994 distinct values are there. How many values? 994 values, showing them in the drop down. Can we go? Let's say in this drop down, I want to select from 1001 to 2000. How many values you need to select? 1000 values. Is it possible? No. When it is medium number of values, that's fine. Even here, drop down also will not work. Here, even tile also not work. Is it possible to go and select multiple values in this tile? No, not possible. It take lot of time. And which is the best one here? Between. When I go to between, you can select starting and you can select ending number. Between these two numbers, what is the sales we have? We can see, right? I can go and start with, as I said, 5,001 to 6,000. Between these two numbers, what is the quantity, sales, and profit we are able to see? Between will allow you to change both starting range and as well as what? And sometimes clients will ask you to change only ending range. They are not supposed to change what? Starting. They want to change only what? Ending. How to change only ending is to change only ending, you need to go with the less than or equal to. When I go with less than or equal to, see starting number got grayed out. Only you can change what? Ending. Let's say ending I given 5,000. From where to where you are seeing the data now? Starting 1 to 5,000. They can change only ending. Clear this. So there are sometimes clients will ask to provide a provision to change only starting. Do make this as grayed out. If you want to allow them to change only starting, we'll go with what? Greater than. When I tell that 5,001, it is showing starting from where? 5,001 till where? Till end. Till end. So that is between will allow you to change what? Both starting, ending. Simple. So generally, rarely we will use this when you have less number values. Which one? Vertical star, right? When you have some medium values, drop down. If you have more values, mostly will go with between. This is about what? Number column. Next one, date column. So if you go to this order date column also, how many distinct values are there? 1, 2, 3, 7 distinct values are there. If you take one slicer, if you go and drag order date column, when I go to format, what is the slicer style you will get by default? If I go with vertical list, how many values you will see? This values 1, 2, 3, 7 values. In 1, 2, 3, 7 values, going and selecting the dates, is it possible? Not possible. If it is 4, 5 dates, going with vertical list is fine. Even here, is it recommended to go with drop down? No, not recommended. Thousands of values, not recommended. Is it recommended to go with time? Even not recommended. Which is the best one here? Between. Between will allow you to change both starting and what? Ending. So if you want to allow them to change only ending, which one? Only let's say I don't want to allow them to change starting. I want to see starting of the data, but ending they want to choose any data. You need to go with what? Before. When I go with before, I can change only what? Ending. I cannot change the starting. So there is another option called what? After. It will allow only what? Starting. Ending is fixed. So all these are similar. Next one, related date. Some time back, I discussed about related date and related time. Where I discussed filters. What I said there about related date and related time based on system date. Whenever we need to filter the data based on the system date, we'll use what? Relative date, relative time based on the system date. So go here. I select what? Last. I select what? 3. I'm selecting what? Days. Last 3 days for me is what? From today. It is showing last 3 days from today. What is the date? Last 3 days? 1, 28, 27. 27 Feb to 1 March. Is it writing based on system date or not? What it is showing all the places? Blank. Why? No data available. So sometimes clients will tell, I want to see last 3 days from today. By default, it is showing what? Last 3 days from today. Sometimes clients will tell, I want to see last 3 days from yesterday. What? When they select last 3 days, it want to show from yesterday, not today. To show from yesterday, you need to go to where? Format, visual, values. When you go to the values, there is what? Include today. When you include today, it will show from today last 3 days. When you stop this, it will show what? Yesterday last 3 days. From yesterday last 3 days also you don't have data. Yes or no? One way you can include from today last 3 days or from yesterday last 3 days using this option. Or you can set anchor date also. What you can set? I want to set one date. Let's say I'll go and set one date called 31st December 2016. Which one? This is the date I'll set here. When I set this date, when I set last 3 days, it will show from here last 3 days. From here, how can you set anchor date there? Go to anchor date, click on date, and go and move to which year? 2016 December 31st. When I select this, now go and select what? 3 days. You go and do the, now you set what? 31st December 2016. Now you are passing last three what days? What is the last 3 days for you? 29, 30, 31. Is it showing some data? Yes. Which year we are in? 2016. Why 2016? You set some anchor date there. So rarely we will set this anchor date. Mostly from today last 3 days or from yesterday last 3 days. Client can select not only days, they can select all these time periods, days, weeks, calendar weeks, months, calendar months, years, calendar years. So we know the difference of weeks and calendar weeks. Yes. Week means last 7 days. Calendar week means last Sunday to last Saturday. Last Sunday to last Saturday. So like that, I already explained it. I already explained in the date filter. So here, like this, we can filter it. Let's say I want to see only today data. What data? Today. You have what? Last, next, this. I'll go and select what? Yeah. This day is what? Today. Why today is 31st December 2016? We set the anchor date. If you remove the anchor date, I'll just remove the anchor date. What date I will see? Here, which date you will see when I remove the anchor date? Which date it will show? I select this day. 3rd March, today's date. 3rd March, today's date, it is showing blank values. Like this, whenever we need to filter the data based on the system date, sometimes your client will ask to provide a provision to filter the data based on what? System date. That time I will use what? Related data. Related data. These are the slices types you have. Okay, next one, we understand slicer styles. Let's delete this for time being. Take slicer. We are discussing formatting options. In the formatting options, first formatting option, style. We understand style, right? Next one, selection. Now you see, when I click on central, it is showing central. When I go and click on east, it is unselecting the central and it is allowing to select what? East. That means it is allowing to select how many regions at a time? At a time, it is allowing to select one. So there are some times your clients will ask, I want to select and see multiple regions data. How many regions data? Multiple. This time you are able to select any one. But sometimes clients want select multiple regions and they want to see the data here. How to select multiple regions is, if you go to selection, there is one setting here. What is that setting you have is multi-select with what? Control. This option setting is what? On. That means you can select multiple values by holding which button? Control. You need to tell your client by default, they need to select control and they can select multiple values. How many regions data you are seeing now? 2 regions. I hold the control button and I select 2 regions. Sometimes clients will tell, I don't want to use control button to select multiple values. Without control, I want to select multiple values. They'll ask how to provide that is. You need to just stop it, not single select. I want to select multiple values without control. This time, select all no. You need to go to this option and you need to do what? Off. Multi-select with control when you do off. Now go and select what? Central and select what? East. I don't hold any control button. How many regions data you are seeing now? 2. You can even select what? 3 regions, multiple regions. Without control, if you want to select multiple values, you can go and stop this. Okay. By default, what? With control, you can select what? Multiple values. Some clients, they are okay. They will go with control button and select multiple values and see it. You need to tell. To select multiple values, you need to hold what? You need to tell? Control. Whenever your client is telling without control, I want to select, then what you will do? You need to just turn off. Sometimes they would like to see select all button. To select all at once, to unselect all at once. They want to see which button? Select all. You go on the select all button. Now, along with the regions on the top, you might see what? Select all. that select all, how it will help is, let's say, when I select multiple values, I need to unselect all at once. How can you unselect all at once? Go here, select all or unselect all. So if you want to select all or unselect all at once, you can, this button will help. For some reasons, if you were expecting this button here, you can go and enable it. Click on reset. When I click on reset to default, all the settings will reset to what? Default values. Okay, so we understand select all and what? Multi-select with control. On the top, you have what? Single select. At any cost, my client want to select only single value at any time. How many values they need to select at any time? Even with when they hold the control button also, they are not supposed to select what? Multiple values. With control button also, they are not supposed to select. Then you need to go with what? Single select. When I select single select on, now I'm holding the control button. I'm trying to click on what? East. Does it select two values? No. At any time, it will allow you to select how many values now? Only single value. Only single value. That's fine, yes. That is what you have in what? Selection. Single select, multi-select with control, select all. Simple. That is about slicer settings. So once you understand about slicer settings, next one is what? Slicer header. This top one you see here is nothing but what here? Slicer header. If you want to format this one, you can format in where? Slicer header. This below one, the central, east, south, west, we call it as what? Values. If you want to format this, you want to change the color, you want to increase the text size, or you want to decrease the text size, where we can change it? The values. Simple options. Okay, these are the formatting. Important formatting option here is what? Slicer settings, choosing the right style and choosing the right settings as per your client requirement. Fine. So remaining these two are simple only. So in the slicer header, let's see one option. If you are seeing like what region, instead of region, I want to write it as what? Select region. What we written here? Select region. Just rename it. Is it changes this name? Yes, sir. And then when you go to somewhere here, there is something called show summary. When I on the show summary, what it is telling? Or currently how many regions data you see? Or when I click on central, which region data? So if you want to see which region you selected here, you need to do what? Show summary and then what? On. I don't want to show it. If you don't want to show it, just stop what? Show summary. No problem. I don't want. So for some reasons, if you want, you can go and do it. So few important interview questions I'll discuss now. Okay. This is about slicer visual. For slicer visual, what are the things we discussed so far? Purpose, field widths, formatting options, right? A few important interview questions they'll ask about slicers. First interview question they'll ask about is it possible to filter the data using slicers in other pages? In where? Other pages. Take an example. Let me delete this visual for time being. Take an example. You have a slicer. You have which slicer here? Region. When I click on central, in the page one, you are seeing which region data? Central. You tell me in the page two, will you see central or complete data? Complete data. When I go to page two, it was not filtered and you are seeing what? Complete. That means slicer is filtering the data in how many pages? One page. So question is, by default, we've seen that slicer is filtering the data only in one page. The question is it possible? Is it possible to filter the data using slicer in other pages? Using which one? Slicer in where? Other pages. Other pages. For this, yes, it is possible. Default slicer will filter the data only in one page. Default slicer will filter data only in what? One page. If you want to filter the data in other pages, yes, we can make it. How to make it, I'll show you now. So how to make it is, I want to filter the data. When I click on any data point, it need to filter the data in the page one along with what? Page two. How can you do that is, select what? Slicer. Then go to which tab? View tab. There is an option called what? Sync slicer. You need to know how to utilize the sync slicer option. Now you have data pane, visualization pane, and what? As soon as I click on sync slicer, you'll get one more pane here. See, when I click on sync slicer, we got another pane with the name called what? Sync slicer pane. When I go to that pane, I can see how many pages you have in the report. How many pages? 6 pages. There are 2 buttons. One button name is sync. This button name is what? Sync or filter. Sync or filter. This button name is visible. Which one? So when I hover here, you are not seeing sync. What do you think? Sync. This one? Visible. So currently slicer is visible in which page? Only first page. By default, in which page it is there, it will filter by default. But your requirement is slicer need to visible in what? Page 1. It need to filter in what? Page 1 along with page 2. So this settings, what it will do is, it will make region visible in what? First page. And it will filter in what? Page and 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Now, I don't want to see this. I configured it. Now, I don't want to see this window. Go and click on one more time what? Sync slicer. When I click on one more time sync slicer, now you don't see that. When I go and click on central, what did I ever see? Central. Page 2, central data. Page 2 also showing central data. Page 3,
Complete data.
page 3. Central or complete?
Complete.
Complete. When I go here, it is showing what? Complete data. So this time client is telling that this slicer is this slicer visible in second page now? No. This time requirement is the slicer need to be visible in both page 1 and page 2, and both to be in what? Sync. How can you do that? Select the slicer. Go to sync slicer. Visible. Now the slicer will be visible in how many pages? 2 pages. Both pages will be in what? Sync. Go and stop this now one more time. When I stop this now, when I go to page 2, are you getting that slicer now? When I click on east, page 2 is showing what data? East. Page 1? East. Page 1 also show what? East data. When I click on west, west data. Page 2 also? West data. Thank you. Fine. We understand. When the interview is asking a question, is it possible to filter the data using slicer in other pages? Means what is your answer? Yes, using an option called what? Sync slicer. How to do that sync slicer? I explained, right? So another important question is after this. Next question they'll ask after this is, what is the differences between slicer, filters, and slicers? What is the differences between filters and which one? Slicers. Filters and slicers. What is the differences is? So we are telling that this is what? Filters. This one is what? Slicer. We are trying to understand what is the difference between these filters and slicers. First, what is the common means? Both filters and slicers are used to filter the data in the visuals. What is common in between? Both filters and slicers are used to what? Filter the data in their visuals. Using the filters also, I can go and filter the data in these visuals. Using the slicer also, I can filter the data in the visual. Yes or no? If you go here, when I drag the region here, when I select any region, is it filtering or not? This time I use which one here? Filters. Even when I select central, is it filtering or not? Both are filtering the data or not? Commonly, both are doing same. And what is the difference is, slicers, filters are used by the developers. Filters are used by what? Developers. But slicers are used by clients. Slicers are used by what? Are used by clients. When developer want to filter the data, then we need to use what? Filters. When clients want to filter the data, then we need to use what? Slices. Another important point is, filters will hide the data to the clients. Filters will hide data to whom? Clients, but slicers will not hide any data to the client. Slicers will not hide data to the clients. What is the meaning is, even though you added a slicer, initially when client open this report, will they see 4 regions data or filtered data? 4 regions. Is it hiding any data? No. But when you apply any filter here, I said that we will hide which one? Filter span. When you hide this filter span, they can see only let's say I applied a filter and I show what data? Center. And I do what? Hide filter span. When I save the report, when I publish the report, when I share the report, client can see what data? Central. How many regions data you hide here? 3 regions. 3 regions. I'll tell you a requirement. You need to tell will you go with slicer or filter. I'll tell you the requirement. You need to tell the whether you will choose slicer or filter. Requirement is I have 20 years data in Power Pivot. How many years? 20 years data. In all the visuals, I need to show to my client only last 2 years data. Which years? What data? To my clients, how many years data is there in Power Pivot? 20 years. To my client, I need to show only what? 2 years data. We'll use filters or slicers?
Filters.
Filters.
We'll use what? Filters.
Filters.
I'll apply the filter and I'll hide the filter span so that I can see only what? 2 years data. Just imagine, I have 20 years data. Initially, when my client open the report, they want to see how many years data? 20 years. Later, they want to filter by their own and they want to see 2 years or 1 year, whatever they want. What you will do then?
Slicer.
That's what I written here. Filters are used by developers to hide what? To the clients. Whenever your requirement is to hide data to what? Clients. Previously, I said that I have how many years data? 20 years. But I want to show how many years data? 2 years. You need to hide how many years data? 18. That time, which one will help us? And don't forget, after applying the filter, hide the filter span. If you don't hide the filter span, they will clear and they can see what? All the data. Fine. As we know that slices are used by the clients for better understanding purpose, for better understanding their data. Slice, why we will provide slices to the clients? For better understanding of the data. Okay. That is all about slicer. In this category, there is one more visual with the name called what? Button slicer. We already completed slicer, right? Next visual you have in this category is what? Button slicer. So this button slicer, 90% looks similar to slicer visual. Even if I take that visual button slicer, almost it looks similar. Let me take button slicer. Which slicer? Button slicer. Let's drag what? Region. By default, it will show buttons. This doing this happening. Okay, you apply filter, right? Clear it. What it is showing by default? It is showing buttons or tiles. Buttons are tiles. Okay. So here also, when I go here, you have what? Slicer settings. There are slicer settings here and the layout. There are different formatting options. So this visual, button slicer visual, 90% same. Like which visual? Slicer. But you will have some extra formatting options. Which one? Extra formatting options. I'll do one thing. You'll get one extra video which explains 30 minutes, just 30 minutes video. You'll find explanation about what? Button slicer. In the 30 minutes also, the discussion is same. 90% is similar. What you will find? Some extra formatting options you'll find. Only difference is what? Extra. See, I can. This is a button slicer. What I can do is go to layout, show it in single row, show how many cards means 4. Now what you are seeing, it is exactly same previously when I discussed here, right? It is looking similar. Central, east, south, west. So I explained clearly in that button slicer will have some extra formatting options. You just go and explore it. These two visuals generally be used for what purposes? Filtering the data. For what purpose? Today, what is the category of visuals we discussed now? Visuals for filtering the data. How many visuals? 2. What are the 2 visuals? Slicer button slicer, right? Uh, let's stop here. Visuals. We'll discuss from here in Monday's class, guys. Where? Monday. Any questions?